My name is John Mitchell Christie, Detective Inspector of Customs in Her Majesty's Colony of Victoria. Everyone knows who I am, but nobody knows exactly where I will be or what I will look like next.
Presenting the incredible but true story of Inspector John Christie, the first Sherlock Holmes.
It seems so long ago that I left Scotland and sailed for the colony of Victoria, and yet I'm positive you cannot detect any trace of my accent. And in fact, if you could see me standing here in the city of Melbourne in this year of 1887, dressed as a Salvation Army officer, you would not think for a moment that I was a customs detective.
Here you are, my good man.
God bless you, sir. As I was saying, the good folk of Melbourne call me the most famous detective in the colony. Well, not wishing to boast, that may well be the case. However, criminals I bring to justice do not have such a high opinion of me. In fact, they would love to see me dead. No cause for alarm. It sounds like my men are having a little trouble in the Chinaman's shop across the road. For your information, Mr. Chang is the colony's most infamous smuggler of opium and tobacco.
Inspector, he's got away again.
Just as I feared. Come in, Sergeant. Well, what happened, Sergeant? I thought we had it planned, the perfect trap.
We did, Inspector Christie. I had my men stationed out of sight in the alley. Once Chang turned up, all we had to do was close in and we'd have had him surrounded.
And did he appear?
No, sir. But his men seemed to be expecting us. They opened fire on us from up on the roof. Turned out the trap was for us.
Somebody tipped them off, Sergeant.
That would be my guess, sir.
And it could only have come from inside the Customs Department.
So it seems, sir.
Then I think we'd better find the person responsible. I'll see you later tonight, Sergeant. Meet me at midnight down by the docks.
But where are you going, sir?
I think it's time I changed out of this ridiculous uniform. Oh, by the way, take these.
What are they for, sir?
The Salvation Army, of course. I haven't been idle all morning, Sergeant. Nothing ever surprised me. The Customs Department was not an outstanding employer. Salaries were low, temptation was high. For someone like Chang, a few bribes here and there were all part of doing business. So here I am, not at the docks, but at the Chang's warehouse. I knew that if I sent my sergeant to the docks, Chang's spies would be there watching for me, which is why I'm here. And not dressed as a detective inspector. A street sweeper's disguise seemed far more appropriate.
Here, you! What do you think you're doing?
Earning my honest wage. Not that it's much. A man like me, he's got no choice.
You can't loiter around here. Be on your way. And since when do they sweep the streets this time of night?
I works when they tell me. You look decent enough, sir. Could you be sparing me a few pennies for a quick nip on the way home? Such a cold night this is.
I told you, you can't stay here. This is private property.
So I heard. It's full of opium.
Who said? Oi, come here when I'm talking to you. Who told you about this place?
Don't hurt me, sir. I have some information for your master.
What are you talking about?
Mr. Chang would pay well for what I know.
Keep your voice down. There ain't nobody called Chang here.
Are you preventing me from earning my reward and warning Mr. Chang of the danger he's in?
If you're lying, old man...
I'm not lying. I've got the truth for sale, I have. I know all about Mr. Cheng's secret informer in the Customs Department. And I know that Inspector Christie knows who he is too. He's got plans to catch Mr. Cheng. I overheard him talking about it in a hotel tonight. Now, if you don't buy my information and Mr. Cheng is betrayed, what do you think he'll do to you? Would Cheng's thug pass my false information to his master? Could I trick Cheng into revealing the name of the informer who worked in my department? Nothing ventured, nothing gained, and I knew I would not have to wait too long to find out. When I disguised myself as a street sweeper to pass false information to Chang, the tobacco and opium smuggler, I little dreamt my plan would work so well. The next morning in my office, I was working on the Richmond Hill case. Now there was a smart criminal. All we knew about him was that he was Irish and that he'd originally come to Melbourne from the goldfields. We knew he operated several illicit stills in the suburb of Richmond, but he'd always managed to keep one step ahead of us. I was discussing the case with Sir Harry Wollaston, the Comptroller of the Customs Department, my superior officer.
This fellow has got away with it long enough, Christie. He has to be brought to justice. The newspapers are making fools of us all.
I don't trust those reporters, Sir Harry. I'll wager they're some of his best customers.
Nevertheless, the public expects us to make an example of him.
As we undoubtedly will, Sir Harry.
But when, Christie? I was talking to some friends of mine at my club last night. They seem to think we are powerless to stop this chap. He's even diminished your reputation. My friends were demanding to know when the great Inspector Christie would put him into jail where he belongs.
What did you tell them, sir?
I said you'd produce a miracle by the end of the week. Well, you can, can't you?
Come in.
Oh, I'm sorry, Inspector. I didn't know you had somebody with you. I can come back later, sir.
Oh, look, that won't be necessary, Sergeant. I'm quite sure Sir Harry would like to know the name of Mr. Cheng's informer.
What informer? What are you talking about, Inspector?
Let's ask the Sergeant. Well, Sergeant, what have you got to say for yourself?
I don't know who the informer is, sir.
So why did you interrupt us, Sergeant?
Because I had some news, Inspector. I was certain you'd want to know about it at once. One of our men was found murdered an hour ago. It seems he died in the early hours of this morning. His throat was cut, sir.
His name, Sergeant?
Constable Ferris, sir.
Huh.
I say, Christie, that's not called for. One of your officers has been killed, man.
My apologies, Sir Harry. I must confess, I am amazed. So it was Ferris. Such an innocuous fellow. I wouldn't have suspected him for a moment.
What do you mean, Christie? What's this all about?
Constable Ferris was Chang's informer.
How do you know, sir?
Because Chang was warned last night that we knew the identity of his informer. He wasted no time silencing the fellow.
But we didn't know the informer's identity, sir.
Precisely. It seems Chang has flushed him out for us.
Christie, next thing you'll tell me that it was you who prompted Chang's reaction.
Oh, I hardly think so, Sir Harry. Do you think Mr. Chang would believe anything I said? At last we had some progress. Chang had taken the bait. And now that Ferris was out of the picture, it was up to us to spring another trap. However, the Richmond Hill case remained as unsolved as ever. I could see that we had our work cut out for us.